Hi, in this short video I'm going to talk about how lust is a factor that is unbalanced. Cutting straight to the chase, understanding this point that lust is unbalanced and is a lack of unity and is disconnection within us has helped me immensely to overcome and to dissolve or weaken the various lustful psychological patterns that I have within me, and also many other people have inside as well. So lust is typically the situation where the various centres within us, the thinking centre, the emotional centre, the feeling centre, the acting centre, and the sexual centre, the centre or the function of sex within us, are all against each other. There are various reasons for that, but commonly the scenario is that when we are overcome with lust, those functions, those centres are at war within us, and usually the sexual centre is the one that is leading the charge, so to speak. It's the one that is like a runaway train. It's the one that is out of balance. It's the one that is occupying mainly all of our thoughts, all of our feelings. It's the one that is in a way taking over our life. In that time, in that period, when we are overcome by lust. So there's a great imbalance there within us psychologically, and outside of ourselves in our physical life. For example, when we're overcome with lust, all we think about is the pleasure that we think we can achieve or obtain or acquire. Then we feel positively about that, or perhaps negatively, because we know that it's wrong if we do it. It'll destroy a relationship, it could bring havoc to our life, it could ruin our reputation, etc., etc. But the main thing is that the sexual centre in us is a predominating factor. Our centres within us are out of balance when we're overcome with lust. The sexual centre is occupying too much importance, too much space, too much energy. It's like a runaway train. It's like the sexual centre is running away from us. It's like the unity and the balance within us, the stability within us is being destroyed. And that has very, very, very physical consequences or ramifications. A person that is overcome by lust is a person that cannot concentrate. It's a person that is very distracted. Is a person who's like sexual drives start to go out of their sphere and into parts of their lives in which they shouldn't be. The person could be very late, can abandon his or her chores, duties, activities, all for the pursuit of sexual pleasure. So just like a runaway train, when it's out of control, the destiny, what then result of a runaway train is always a collision. It's always going to collide with something. So that's what happens when the sexual centre runs away from us. It starts to collide with the various aspects and areas of our life. All because of that out of balance and lack of stability and lack of unity within us. So whenever there's balance, there is stability, and whenever there's stability, there's unity. Division, instability and lack of balance go together. But unity, balance and stability are together. So if we're able to balance, give the sexual centre the right proportion, put it into its right sphere, then we can greatly weaken lust. We can diminish lust. We can shed ourselves of lust, because we don't need it. We have balance to take care of our sexual functions. An intelligent, wise balance being governed by our own consciousness, not by the artifice of lust within us. Okay, so there's one point I just want to mention before closing, is that desire gets so big within us, sexual desire, lustful desire gets so big and out of proportion within us because we feed it. We give it too much importance, more than what is due. And that's how it gets out of balance. So that's the origin. When we give excessive attention to something. So lust is always that. It's so absorbing, it takes too much of our attention, and then when it takes too much of our attention, it takes a lot of energy, more than what is due, and it gets blown out of proportion, and then that's how we unbalance ourselves. So the best thing is not to feed it, or give it its right place, its small amount of food. Sex doesn't bring us money, it doesn't help us to study, it doesn't get our work done, etc., etc. It's not everything in life, but the sexual energy is everything in life. Lust isn't, but the sexual energy is. So we have to know how to transmute. Lust doesn't benefit the whole of us. It rather creates a war within us. Your mind is against it. The sexual centre is running away from you, wanting its pleasure, driving towards the pleasure, but the mind is saying, no, if I do this I'll get into trouble, ruin my reputation. What about if people find out? My wife, my family, my kids, etc., etc. And the emotion, you feel a bit nervous, you can't be bothered doing it, but then there's the other part in lust that wants that sort of enjoyment that it promises, but usually that enjoyment is not really enjoyment, and it turns to pain a few minutes afterwards. So what I wanted to say here is that the channeling, the right use of the sexual energy, transmuting it, transforming it, benefits all the centres within you, your whole body, your mind, your emotions, everything, and that unity brings a special pleasure, not the useless sexual pleasure that's 1 second and that's it, gone, just the pleasure of the sexual centre. But this brings a pleasure of all the centres, the whole body together, transmutation. But lust, losing the sexual energy, only brings pleasure to the sexual centre, and then that destroys like the harmony within the body and within us psychologically. It doesn't benefit us as a whole, but transforming that sexual energy benefits us as a whole, physically, vitally, psychologically and spiritually. Okay, so I hope this video has been useful to you. So, understanding this point has helped me so much. It's helped me to finally understand that lust is out of place, is something inconvenient, something that we don't need, something that can be replaced and substituted, and something that is wrong, that is against the natural cosmic order of things. Balance is the order, but lust is something that produces unbalance. So therefore it's wrong, it's destructive. And understanding that point finally from this angle has helped me so much, because I was stagnated because I couldn't understand why lust was wrong. But now seeing this point, finally I've come to the wise, intelligent, conscious, by myself understanding that it is something wrong. And that coincides with what all these spiritual traditions have taught. Just to believe it dogmatically leads to suppression and fear, and then later lust emerges with vengeance, with much more force than ever before. So that doesn't help. But when you have true comprehension, things change, it's different. Okay, so once again, thanks very much for watching this video. I really hope with all my heart it has been useful for you. Okay, thank you and bye. See ya.